Okay, welcome back to your Monday Morning Jumpstart. Ted, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. The last segment of taking us to the place that nobody wants to go. Today, we're going to acknowledge that people very often feel like I'm just not ready for that. So if I come to you, I say I want this thing, but I'm not ready. What is your advice to me? How do you lead me to that?
Well, I think we overcomplicate things. I mean, this could be a short conversation. Like if I was to go cutthroat on this one, I hate sports analogies, but like the Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss every shot you don't take. And there's different outplays of that conversation. But I think for this conversation today, again, people run from jumping into starting their own business, right? Under this whole premise this month, like there's certain things we run from, and this is one of them. And here's what I'd say. And by the way, the last 3 weeks, we hit on all the things. Fear, right? We've hit on all these things, the different paradigm shifts we need to do and all the rest of it. But this idea of starting a business, it is not as complicated as many people have made it. And that's what I'd say, particularly for most of us in this space, like the writers out there.
Yeah.
You're going to be a solopreneur. It's going to be you, and you're going to be writing. I am a solopreneur. I started 11 years ago. It was just me. It's still just me by design. And for, I would venture to say 2 or 3 years, I was sitting on the sideline in a great job, but I had convinced myself in all my reading and everything else that starting a business was way beyond my scope. I didn't understand tax. I didn't understand payroll. I didn't understand this. I didn't understand that. I incorporate what? LLC, S Corp, and I freaked myself out. So again, here's one of these things that kind of stops us in our tracks. And the main message that I want to jumpstart everybody on this Monday is, it is not as complicated as you think at all, right? It is not complicated to ask for a client. You may be sitting there, like Jade said, this idea that you said that I'm not ready. Who's to tell you that you're not?
Yes.
This goes back to what we talked about 3 weeks ago, fear. You don't know if you're ready or not until you jumped. Personally, and Jade, you and I have talked about this in the past, I was lucky enough to have a mentor, right? And the mentor took me out to breakfast one day, and I told him I had a burden in my belly to start a business, and he simplified it. I was incorporated the next week. He told me 2 things. Ted, the easiest thing to do in this company, in this world, is to start a business. To start a business. Doesn't mean it'll be successful, but you incorporate. He told me, get on LegalZoom. Go incorporate. That's not a plug for LegalZoom. But get on LegalZoom or find out how to incorporate, and then go start a bank account. You do those 2 things, you are officially open for business. And I will tell you, internally, I did those 2 things within a week. I got a business card off Vistaprint for like nothing. I was in business. There was something internally that happened to me that I was like, it's official. I got my papers from the IRS, Ted Capshaw and Associates. I was like, whoo, I'm ready to go. And so if you're sitting out there and you're stuck and you're saying, I'm not ready, you're telling yourself that. Nobody else has told you you're not ready, 1. And 2, business does not have to be complicated. It does not. You have a skill set. You have prepared yourself for the skill set, writing in this instance. Now you got to go out and execute. All the business stuff, you're going to figure out. Taxes. That's why they have accountants. Right? Like I can't tell you tax codes and stuff. I'm not a businessman in that aspect. I'm executing on what I believe in is my gift to the world, what my trade is. And that's what you're going to do, but take action.
But you know what I think that your mentor did for you, Ted? We need to discuss this. When you were talking about all the, I don't even know those acronyms, like there's this and there's that, and I need this and I got to have that. Those were all the things that you could not do. Right? Everything you
crippled me.
Yes. And then your business mentor said, hey, look, this is the 2 things you need, and you can do them right now. Right? So it's like that whole long list of what you couldn't do, but the list of what you could do is really the things that you should have been focusing on and tackling. Right? It's like, so what can anybody listen to this do right now? Don't look at what you can't do, but what can you do? Set up a LinkedIn profile. That literally is like the LinkedIn wasn't around, I don't think, when you started.
Right.
Like how easy is that? Like you set that up and nobody's even gonna know if your title, if you put copywriter there, nobody's coming to check on you if you're even you know what I mean? So it's that easy, that just focus, I think, on what you can do, not that whole long list of what you can't do. And Ted, something you've talked about before and taught us so well is like, check the story, right? Has somebody really that you can't do that?
Well,
right?
I mean, you talk about check the story. And look, if you're not in business for yourself, the story I had in my mind, I can't open a business account. I don't have thousands of dollars. I don't have a business. I can't go open. I went in a business account. I needed $25 to open the account. I mean, I wrote a check. I mean, but it sounds silly now.
No, but it's true.
But those are real things for people, you know. And the other thing is, you know, I love what you said about the LinkedIn. When I took those simple steps, all of a sudden, the conversations that I was having with the plethora of people that were asking for coffee or lunch with me, right? For usually I'm in these coffee or lunches doing the work that I do today. Well, all I did was start to wink at them and say, hey, and by the way, I started a business. I'm doing this now. That was it. And that all of a sudden I started getting clients. And so something happens, just like you say, you put on your LinkedIn profile, I am now a copywriter.
Yeah.
And copywriters, I mean, everybody needs copy. There's not a business out here that doesn't need copy, right? And so there's not a nonprofit out there that doesn't need copy. All of a sudden, your conversations at dinner parties, poolside, at your son's baseball game, all the conversation changes if you choose to change it, which is, oh, by the way, I copyright.
I'm thinking about maybe this thing that I could perhaps do, you know, no. Just,
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, Ted. So we're going to implore everybody to take that leap, to take an action, to do the thing that you are scared of doing. Do it before you're ready, because nobody's telling you that you're not, but you, right? And we look forward to hearing the success that hopefully comes from this. Let us know the actions that you are taking. We have a comment section. Tell us what you're going to do. And Ted, I look forward to our next series. Who knows?
Yeah, well, let me say this, Jade, in close. Let me just say this in close, because we spent this month talking about some heavy stuff, the truth be told. And, you know, when I get with you, we can be light and we can talk through this stuff. But I do want to say this, because the stuff we talked about this month, it's not easy, right? Like just like right now, I kind of said, well, it's not oversimplified. It's not easy, because in many instances, your livelihood, right? Your mortgage payment could depend on the choices that you make. So I want everybody to hear that it's not easy. I'm on the back end of some of the stuff that we've talked about. So I'm speaking from a place of truth and experience in that these things have paid dividends for me in my life when I actually chose to lean into them a little bit. So I just want to say that at the end of this month, because we talked about, you opened up so eloquently 3 weeks ago for this month of talking the yin and yang, doom and gloom that we mentioned. This stuff is hard, but you probably felt from me and Jade of kind of a spirit in us, or a little lightness in us, because we understand the real ramifications if you choose to lean into this stuff.
Yes.
So.
Beautiful, beautifully said, Ted. And we look forward to speaking to everybody next week. So I'll see you then, Ted. Bye.
Take care.